Good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and we are back, and we have made it on to step 2. We are playing Sorare Pro. Like a set of pros, we are hot streaking, and we are flying through it, and we're here ready for the next game of SPFL Match Day 1 as Falkirk host St Mirren. I'm just plugging on all the settings for the stream today. Good to see us all live and loud. We'll have another $20 giveaway of market credits on Sorare to you guys that jump in live and loud with us today. I'll be back for a preview stream for the match later on today, Aberdeen versus Hearts as well. And we'll have another $20 of market credits to give away in that one, as well as every other streaming video that we'll be doing here on the channel all the way to the end of August. Make sure to hit subscribe, make sure to turn on notifications, and make sure not to miss any of the action, because it is going to be helter-skelter non-stop from start to finish. As we're in the 1st of October right now, and we're streaking ourselves through it, and we've only just began. Good to see you all here. Smash the like button on arrival. I'll let you guys know who are here nice and early. It's a wee bit of a different tweet to yesterday, so apologies if I misled any of you. We'll come back to the pinned tweet for the giveaway stuff in due time. But if you want to get involved in the giveaway, I'll draw the winner at the end of this stream. But I want you to go and hit a wee like, a retweet, and a comment on the last tweet I put out here. I did my first match breakdown over on Scottish Football Daily, and I'd love to get it a little bit of traction, a little bit of air if we possibly could. So if you find me at Quinny 3001, drop a like, share, retweet on this comment, get stuck in. Did you see this? You know, the results, thoughts, feelings, anything you want to put in the comment section, go nuts for it. And I'll pull a random retweet at the end of the show today. Like, retweet, comment on my retweet of Scottish Football Daily, and I'll pull that out as we get towards the end of the show. I'll show you the team sheets, and then we'll get stuck into all the actual strategy parts of it and whatnot, because the St Mirren lineup is out. Jacob Chapman, new goalkeeper in town, starts. It looks like a back four of Richardson, Fraser, who's the captain, Gogic, and Fieldson. A midfield three of Ryan Carr, who's someone I'm not too familiar with, Ryan and Seo, who's meant to be more of a Paul and Seo, a defensive midfielder from the Rangers Academy, Killian Phillips, Samu Ramos, Mockery, and Sula up as the arrowhead. Quite an expected lineup from St Mirren, given how they'd shaped up in the cup. Transfer business had done. Maybe Nseo coming straight into the team's a bit of a surprise. King on the bench alongside Idowu could be difference makers. Thomas is a new signing that got announced, I think, earlier today, by the way, if that's the same player. I think it is. So that might be a surprise debut. Falkirk have a few more surprises in their starting 11. Scott Bain starts the game unexpectedly. The back four of McMillan, Henderson, Melnix. Actually, is this a back? Oh, Melnix might be in midfield. That might be what's going on here. So we've got McMillan right back. Strain will probably be playing left back, or vice versa. But then Henderson. No. Hold on. No. I think Melnix will be centre back. Melnix centre back with Henderson. McMillan. No. Tanser and Strain are definitely both full backs. So is McMillan playing centre back? Yeah, McMillan's playing centre back with Henderson, Tanser and Strain right and left back. Midfield, I suspect, of Melnix, Yeats, and Sibbald. Melnix maybe makes that a back three at times, with Tanser and Strain firing forward a bit more. And then they've got a front three of Gardner, McIver, and Laidlaw. Quite an interesting Falkirk setup, and we fancy them to be quite an attacking force. We've seen that from them last year. Good to see us all. I'll just throw myself onto this side, so we've got the chat on the go as well on screen. So good to see us all here live and loud. Josh Tilley in the house. He's been a member, an FC Barcelona season ticket holder for 13 months. Good to see us all. Did you get streaking last night? Have you been playing Scotland? I think there's some other leagues that are on the go as now. I didn't know. I was listening to Nep a wee bit earlier on. I didn't realise he was still on or he'd just finished. But good to see you all here. Nep, if you're in the house, fist bump to you as well. Of course, is Sorare Maxwell, who was first in-house, as well as Matt Harrison, Mikey Basson, the aforementioned Michael, of course. Luke Jones, good to see you. Josh Tilley, my man, Notorious, Guido. These are all coming in live and loud. This is going to be a big one. I'll show you. I'll set up the tactics board and we'll have a look at how this game might transpire. If you joined the stream last night and then you watched Dundee United Rangers, tell me that I can't see into the future. I called so much of that game, other than the scoreline. But if you watched the game, the video yesterday, I did say this game smelled like a last-minute penalty. Jim Goodwin disappointed at the end, saying we just let it get away from us at the end. And by the way, it was so close to being reality, wasn't it? Really glad Dundee United managed to keep it tight and get the draw. Buzzing with that, obviously. But in terms of the forecast, how the game would win and how it might ultimately be decided, I was pretty spot on with it, by the way. And watching my boys, watching my first streak going off, I was really buzzing with it. So great to see. Randall scored a 70. Randall was really quite bad in this game. I thought he looked like a boy playing against men. Same with Lachlan Rose. Sapsford maybe a little bit less so, but I felt the kind of oceanic contingent of the Dundee United team, you could tell they were playing a level up. You know, you really did feel that. It was almost like Dundee United were a really top team from another division or a lower division. They came through it, good endeavour, and the most impressive thing about Dundee United was how well rehearsed they were. I felt, you know, like it really looked like everything that they were doing was straight off the training ground, and like they knew what they were doing. Even when they were playing out from the back, they played some lovely patterns out with defence, and you know, no matter how brave or how adventurous it seemed to be, the players on the pitch had cool, calm heads, were in the right positions. The passes all connected, and there wasn't really many errors. Forbes was a big standout for me. He brought in a 55, which story-wise isn't anything mad, but quite buzzing with that. He's been up to score down now since. This Aggie, by the way, I think is one of the worst football players I've ever laid eyes on in a top-flight game. Physically, you know, got around the game and made an impact of sorts, but ball at his feet and such left a lot to be desired. From a Dundee United perspective, but hey man, job done for me. Streak in the bag, essence in the bag, and now we're on to the next score where we need to get some essence at this point as well before we're looking after cash. And we've got a bit of a bigger score. I've kind of laid out my other lives just to see how it kind of runs, but if I can just clear that off to the side right now. I've only got a Falkirk stack, and I had to go and degen into a Finn Yeats when the team sheet came out. If we go back to the Falkirk team, I was kind of banking on Krause or Crowhouse starting this game. He's not even made the bench, so gutted at that. And I put my safe guy that's probably going to score 48 points, Sibbald, into a leaderboard team, which, you know, at least he plays, but him being used over there is kind of wrecked me a wee bit, and I had to go and buy that Yeats for like £6. Now, the navigation on site at Sorare, by the way, is really clunky. As I go into Sorare 27, it shows me game week 3. Tony Watt actually messaged me out yesterday, and through the kind of clunkiness of this dynamic, teams were missed, you know, which is a bit of a nightmare for some. And I know he's not the only one, but just when I hear, I'm talking to him and then other folk are messaging something similar, it's a bit of an issue. So yeah, Sibbald is going to play. Sammy Ramos on the other side is going to play. I've not had much other leaderboard action really kicking into this. And if we just jump onto the tactics board for a moment, I'll jump back into this corner with you guys and we'll try and fix the team up. So yeah, Tanser, I think Melnix is going to be here. McMillan, straight. Yeah, it might even be a bit higher like you see there, but in between the likes of Sibbald, Gardner, McKeever, Yeats, and then we're after Laidlaw. Surely this is too many players. No, it's not somehow. 4-3-3 of sorts. And again, it'll be interesting because it might be Tanser and McMillan a lot higher up. And then maybe Gardner's in as a 10. You've got then 2 up front. Oh no, that is too many players. Who isn't playing? No. 4-3-3. Yeah, that's not too many players. Yeah. So I think that's how I might go. From a St Mirren point of view, I think I'm going to see Sula, Mockray, and who else was in the front three again? Fieldson left back. I think I'm going to see a bit more like this. Carr and CO, Phillips. Oh yeah, Ramos. So yeah, Mockray has played at striker before. I could see this front three playing quite tight and narrow and stuff. Yeah, these guys might be a bit more kind of front on as well. The wide contest is going to be quite interesting here, to say the least. Yeah, if Melnix drops in, then you've got a kind of 5 situation. Maybe a bit more of a 2 up top. Be interesting to see how Falkirk shape this one up, with some of their players having some versatility. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It could even be some sort of like 3-4-3 type thing, or yeah. But the boy Ramos, on the left channel, Mockray probably on the right, but you know, cutting inside, or maybe even if the ball's really focused down the right hand side, you'll see this Samu linking up and Roman alongside Phillips and playing maybe as like a kind of box midfield with a back 4. And then Sula's going to hang. Maybe Mockray could be a wee bit more Timo Werner in the sense of he's got the option to pick a side around the box. Otherwise, it could be he fills in, Samu's peeling out, and it's more that kind of natural maintain the box kind of way if the ball's on the left side of the pitch or on the right. So you could see a bit of that happening. I think Phillips is going to be key to everything they do well. And I think SO5-wise, Phillips has got a lot of untapped potential that with the right manager, which, maybe Craig McLeish is the man, the right sort of team and shape, Phillips has the potential to be an 80-plus scorer with one decisive. Fieldson comes from the lower division and has a good reputation as being an attacking fullback. Gogic, really reliable on Sorare as well. So if you're looking at a St Mirren point of view, Chapman, Gogic, Phillips, I think you want Samu for the Stardust, and Sula is the attack, is the Arrowhead guy. I'd probably go with that as the 5. With Falkirk, it's all about Bain, obviously. I'm thinking Melnick's is my defender pick. If he plays midfield, could be kind of cheat code. Sibbald is a really strong midfield pick. Yeats between him and they're both going to score 44 points. It doesn't really make much of a difference. And I'm banking on double striker. I'm going Gardner and Laidlaw, 2 guys that came out of Premier League B essentially, and have a good level, and I think should really be up for this game against the sort of experience, I suppose, or the kind of know-how, the nous of like a Marcus Fraser and a Gogic. And if these guys can make it, St Mirren over the last couple of years have been really hard to break down. If we get a bit of that Stephen Robinson, Jim Goodwin, St Mirren, when they're off the ball, I can see the guys like Gardner and Laidlaw maybe struggling to really making an imprint on the game. I'm maybe getting a wee bit hangover from the Dundee United game where I just felt the front three, I can't say enough, they just looked like a level below. They weren't quite quick enough. They were nowhere near strong enough. And, think about Elijah Just last year. Elijah Just was like a wee guy as well. Forget about the nationality kind of parallel. But Elijah Just had like steel in his bones. And I didn't really feel that last night with the Dundee United lads. And I may be looking at some of these players at Falkirk, who I'm quite optimistic with, and trying to think, could that kind of thing happen again? They are kind of untested at senior top flight level to some regard. And that's maybe something that might show itself in the match. McIver's been all right for some AA and a DA and once in a while. Tansen and Strain, again, decent fullbacks, both former St Mirren players, funnily enough. The boy McMillan has some versatility, comes out from Exeter or Lincoln, somewhere like that. I forget exactly where, sorry. But as a Falkirk fan, and along with Sibbald, there's a little bit of that fabric coming back into the team. I'll try and catch up with the chat. It's been absolutely flying away. Let me know who you guys think is going to win the game. It's probably a fun thing to put into the live chat. Score predictions, maybe even your 5. There's probably a decent shout for mixing this up because Falkirk really don't have a good scoring midfielder. Whereas with St Mirren, Samu or Killian Phillips are a really solid shout to be the highest scoring midfielder in the game. But I would probably pick Gardner as a forward. I'd probably just about pick a Falkirk forward over Sula or Mockery. And then in defence, I think Melnick's might be quietly cheat code. Gogic is quite reliable. And I'd probably pick Bain over Chapman. So a hybrid team in this fixture might actually be the move. I need to hit 380 points. And I'm not mad optimistic that Falkirk have got 380 in their locker. If we just maybe compare and contrast, I didn't even get to 380 last night. I got to 335 with Dundee United, and a captain on 60, a 70 decisive, no clean sheet. It doesn't take much more to get to that 380 mark, but it does take more. I've got 2 decisives here. I probably need 4. Probably need the clean sheet and a good captain pick. If I can get a really high scoring captain, it carries a lot of weight, doesn't it? Lachlan Rose was a solid captain pick. I just thought he was so likely for decisive out of the Dundee batch, Dundee United. And that's why I went with him. Sadly, no AA. I'd been better with Randall, but ultimately it wasn't really an issue. So trying to use that as a bit of a gauge. I think Sorare managers, we can quite often, let me throw this up here. That's where I meant to sit. Sorry. We can quite often overlook is just how hard it is to get the scores. What do you actually need in the game? And when I look at my Falkirk setup here, Falkirk could score 2 or 3. I wouldn't put that by them. Although I do think the St Mirren centre-backs are solid. The goalkeeper, in a similar method to what I was mentioning before, maybe a bit untested at this level and could be there for the taking. But the boy Melnick's, if he's up for set pieces and he's in defensive midfield, getting double-doubles and triple-triples, he could be quite spiky. We know what Bain's like. He's very AA friendly. Yeats, I think, is my handicap. I don't really see him breaking 45. If he can, I think we're really onto a song. But I only need 360, not 380, I beg your pardon. Falkirk pitch could have an impact on the match. I'm surprised with no Ross. What's up with Krause? I've not seen any of the news. I'll try and keep you up to date with all that. The match kicks off in 12 minutes. I need to go and get set up to watch it. The Timu Haaland does it for the Arabs, yeah. Kinda, wasn't he? Tiny Haaland. Not sure how reliable BBC Sport is, but lineup says they're playing 4-2-3-1. I guess that's just their interpretation of it. I'm just trying to interpret it as well. I think the boy Melnick's like he is a centre back, but I had Falkirk fans telling me he's going to play defensive mid. There's no Brad Spencer. I'm not even sure he's on the bench. Let's just double check that. Yeah, no Brad Spencer on the bench. He's out injured. Connor Allen on the bench. He can play defensive midfield or centre back. So I've just got a feeling that Melnick's is in midfield, and Sibbald and Yeats, I can't say I know well enough to say they won't be playing attacking mid, but I just feel that this will be a 3. This will be like, maybe he's a sweeper of the midfield, pardon the expression, or maybe he's a drop-in to allow the fullbacks to go. But I just see like Henderson, McMillan, Sibbald and Yeats maybe being quite similar to that Dundee United 2 centre-backs, and then Tate and Savelge kind of dynamic. You know, they kind of box up and protect the box in the central area. He's then got ability to go and close people down, smash into folk. These guys need to deal with the wide areas, and then you're asking for a bit of creativity and a wee bit of match awareness from the front 3 to cover spaces and runners and whatnot. And as I say, from a St Mirren perspective, I may be underselling them a little bit because I don't really get all the fuss, all the hoo-ha with their manager. But again, there's optimism around it. And let's see what style of play St Mirren bring to the party. I think they're starved of attacking football in Paisley, and that's what they're really hoping for. The profile that Ncio offers is meant to be that kind of shield. I can't speak to knowing much about Carr, certainly, but if Phillips can really get free rein, again, high scoring midfielder and the match potential is there. No doubt about it for me. I just don't, because the problem with him last year is he was deep, you know, and he's really effective deep because he's huge. But the best games I've seen this guy play is when he's crashing the box, he's running off a front man, because defenses fear him, you know. Is the game clock thing working properly? Now, this is actually a really interesting strategy point because I don't need to play. I could just sit on this life now and wait till next weekend. I could do that. By playing this life, I am now committed to trying to hit 360 points before the game week goes. And although I don't have mad faith on Falkirk, I've got stacks for many more games and many more teams, and I'm very confident that I'll get 360 between one of them. I would love it to be Falkirk at the first time of asking, but if not, then I don't want to say the pressure starts, but the clock starts ticking then, doesn't it? I don't have a position of security. I need to hit the 360 before end of the weekend, and I'm then looking at Aberdeen, and then I'm looking at the 2 games tomorrow, and I've not got anything set for Monday yet. Dundee are in leaderboard. I don't have Celtic, so I've got 3 more cracks at it for my 4 lives, essentially, and that's kind of what I had fleshed out at the beginning of the stream earlier. Now, for any that are just joining us live and loud, please hit the like button. That goes a long, long way. Sorare love the content here at Quinny 3001, and they are supporting us in a massive way throughout the month of August. Every stream, every video, I've got $20 of market credit to give away for you guys. And I'll try and make it so everyone can get involved who's live. But the theme of the weekend is certainly Twitter posts, because we've got a lot of activity on there and we want to promote the content as much as we can. I have started a Scottish football dedicated channel. A lot of you have caught it already. If you haven't, it's called Scottish Football Daily. I had my first full match analysis video out there earlier today, breaking down Dundee United Rangers. And if you watch the stream on this channel pre-match, it's probably a good thing to just have a wee watch of football-wise or whatever. So this tweet here, for me, first match breakdown, blah, 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 like, retweet, comment, and I'll pick a random retweet at the end of this video, and you'll get $20 of Sorare market credits. So get involved in that. I'm going to end the stream in the next 5 minutes. So you've been warned. Now is the time to get involved. Good to see you all. Fist bumps on arrival. And yeah, I think this will be an interesting match. I think there's goals for both teams. I think St Mirren have a goal in them. The boy Samuel Ramos, came from the same team as Kizaridis did the season before, and he actually outdid Kizaridis at that Slovakian team, or wherever the hell it was. So there's an air of optimism around the impact he could have. And I'm talking a lot about Killian Phillips, but Sammy Ramos could be the newcomer on the block. He could be one of those guys that really writes his name on the headlines of match day 1 as being a real dominant force. And if St Mirren were to get the victory, I think you would probably see him being the guy that steps up and elevates St Mirren over Falkirk. But I think Falkirk, although there's not a lot of the same characters from last season, the squad has very much changed. It doesn't really feel that way looking at it. It feels like they'll be keeping to the same principles, the same identity. And despite Sibbald, McMillan, the whole back four is pretty much different. Even the front line, similar profiles, similar styles. And I don't know, it just feels like Falkirk have got their got their act together. You know, they know what they're doing in that sense, and I fancy Falkirk to win the game. Really, if I'm going to go with a score prediction, and it'll be great to see. Mamadou's. I am a Celtic supporter. It depends on. I'm a football fan above all else, but yeah, it's a bit of a big question. There's a few teams I really like that I follow, but to give you a quick answer on that, it would be Celtic. But for this game, I think Falkirk. I would take Falkirk on my predictions right now. I could see them getting a goal or two from open play, and I could see Falkirk getting a wee set piece on their. You know, I could see Falkirk getting 2 or 3 goals in this. I don't know if I see that or I want that. It's maybe somewhere in the middle, but I do think. Yeah, I do think this midfield might. And Seal's coming. I don't know. A really tough game. I think Falkirk win it. St Mirren are going to score. My gut's telling me to say 3-1 Falkirk. But I think I'm over-egging the Falkirk attack a wee bit by 3. So I'm going to maybe tone it down and say 2-1 to Falkirk. Just to keep it in a wee bit more the realms of reality. Let me go and get the Twitter picker. The retweet picker is a bit easier to do, I think, isn't it? Yeah. Awesome. Now, get your entries in, guys. Get your entries in. I'll be back. We'll do another video just like this, previewing Aberdeen versus Hearts later on today. If you've not done so already, hit subscribe, turn on notifications so you jump in as soon as the stream happens. Whether you're playing along or not, there'll be $20 of market credits in that stream as well. Make sure not to miss it. But yeah, this is the post for today. I tell you what, I'll probably be doing this post in the stream later on. So if you're getting involved in this one, you've probably got 2 bites at the cherry. So get involved now. If you miss the cut off, you can be involved in the one later on. There we go. And if you're watching this after we've been live, you can get involved in it too. If you maybe got work and stuff like that, you can't quite catch us live. That's the tweet to get involved in for today. I've decided. There we go. So we're going to pick a random retweet. Winner count 1. Don't care about follows. Don't care about picture. Don't care about any of this stuff. Continue. No entries loaded. Winner count 1. Maybe I need to use a different system. Sometimes they're a wee bit funny, these things. It looks like it's loaded. Retweet picker, no entries. We've definitely got entries. I can see there's entries. There's a bunch of getting involved. Love it. Like, retweet, comment, please. I'll pick retweets this time. I don't know what I'll pick later. But do all 3. Right, let's find another retweet picker. Sorry, gang. Yeah, this is the one we like. I think this is easy peasy. Yeah, there we go. This is an easy one. We like this. Number of followers. Yeah, don't care about all this stuff. Duration, 12 seconds for a bit of drama llama. Let's get the data. 11 entries. Let's see it. Thanks to everyone that supported the channel today and the content later on tonight. I look forward to seeing you. Hopefully, I've hit 360 points and we're going into streak 2 or streak 3, I beg your pardon. But if not, it'll be our second bite at the cherry with a blockbuster match, Aberdeen versus Hearts. And we've got $20 of market credit to give away to Stress-Free FIFA. Congratulations to you. I'm just going to jump onto your profile. And yeah, if you could follow me, it makes things a bit easier because I need to message you. So Stress-Free FIFA, I've dropped you a wee follow. Thanks a lot for the retweet, my man. And DM me, I'll DM you. I need your Sorare manager name so I can send it to Sorare to tell them who's won the credit. So thank you very much, mate. Congratulations. Good luck to you all if you're playing along with me. This is my lineup once again that I'm chasing down. I'm going with Melnick's in defence. I degened into Finn Yeats. Between him and Sibbald, it's kind of whatever. The highest scoring midfielder is probably a St Mirren player, and maybe a hybrid stack is something I should have thought about for this game, but hey-ho, is what it is. Laidlaw, Captain Gardner, because I think maybe this guy has a wee bit of ball playing, a wee bit of techers about him from the way he profiles. Gavin Ridley celebrating 8 months as a member. Time does fly, mate. Thank you very much for the support. I'm going to go with 2-1 to Falkirk, but I do have 3-1 somewhere in my... Could happen. So yeah, let's hope it is 3-1. The more decisives, the better. Wish me luck, and I'll see you after the game to look at how this went and the preview for Aberdeen versus Hearts. Take care, everyone. Congratulations, stress-free FIFA, and I'll catch you later on.